Welcome to Bangla City SATV News. This is Nuri Alamin with the headlines. Hunger strike by SATV students entered the 6th-day. Section of university teachers start took in hunger strike on DU campus. All offices are asked to operate with half of staff rest to work virtually up to February 6th to curb coronavirus. Bangladesh to host Food and Agriculture Organization Asia Pacific Regional Conference for the first time. The hunger strike by some students of Sharjah University of Science and Technology demanding the Vice-Chancellor's resignation entered the 6th day today with no sign of ending the stalemate in sight. The unrest at the university deepened on Sunday evening as its protesting students disconnected electricity supply to the Vice-Chancellor's residence as he refused to step down as per the demand. The Teachers Association of SAST urged the government to form a neutral probe body to investigate the police action and protesting students. Meanwhile, a group of teachers from several universities started a 3-hour token hunger strike this known to express solidarity with the students of SAST demanding resignation of its Vice-Chancellor. The government on Sunday asked all government, semi-government, autonomous and private offices to operate with half of their staff in office and allowing the rest to work virtually between January 24 and February 6 in a fresh move to contain the spread of COVID-19. The Cabinet Division issued a circular asking all concerned to take necessary measures to enforce the restriction in a wake of the sudden spike in COVID cases. The Bangladesh Supreme Court will give instructions on court proceedings while Bangladesh Bank will give instructions on banks, insurance and financial institutions in this regard. Bangladesh will host the 36th Regional Conference for Asia and the Pacific of the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO for the first time since it joined the organization in 1973. At a virtual press conference today, FAO Asia Pacific Head of Communications made the announcement. Due to the COVID-19 situation, the conference will be held as a hybrid event at the Intercontinental Dhaka. A total number of 46 countries from across the region are expected to attend, with Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina giving a virtual address on behalf of the host country on March 10. Agriculture Minister Abdul Razak will preside over this conference. The Director General of the FAO is also expected to attend this. Influential people are illegally buying and selling coal under the open sky in front of the school in Dhamrai, Dhaka, which caused a huge damage to the people and environment. Many students and pedestrians are getting sick. Despite several appeals to locals, didn't get any remedy. Dalia Nilufar has this story.
Hundreds of brick kilns are constantly carrying coal. The coal dust is blowing in the air into nearby houses. Burning coal in the hot sun spreads panic among the children in the school near the kiln. Leaving coal under the open sky is running the environment, also creating damage to the croplands. A trader of Shrutipara Union, KBC Products and Shoni Traders, an organization of Mahabub Group, are operating this illegal coal business on the side of the road. The locals, after trying a lot, did not get any benefit from this problem. Students are getting sick as the workers are working in the coal pile in front of the gate of Mohini Mohan High School. The leader of the environmental organization said that the school has lodged a complaint to the UNO. He said that various steps have been taken to stop illegal coal trade in such open places in many parts of Bangladesh, in many parts of the country. Although after contacting several times, he refused to speak in front of the camera. Dalia Nulufar, SATV News Desk.
The High Court today directed the authorities concerned to take effective steps to stop overcharging passengers of public transport, including buses and minibuses. In response to a writ petition, the court ordered Bangladesh Road Transport Authority to display the list of fares for public transport on electronic billboards at every stoppage in a month. So far, the passengers can easily see those. The High Court also issued a rule asking the authorities concerned of the government to explain in 4 weeks why their failure to stop bus owners and their conductors from collecting extra fares from the passengers should not be declared illegal. The historic Mass Upsurge Day, commemorating the 1969's movement for autonomy that eventually led to the Liberation War and the emergence of Bangladesh in 1971, was observed today in a befitting manner. On January 24, 1969, Motir Rahman Malik, a standard 9th grader of Nabukumar Institution, and Rustam Ali, a rickshaw puller, were killed in a police firing on demonstrators in Dhaka as Pakistani rulers desperately tried to suppress the popular uprising. On the eve of the day, President Mohammad Abdul Hamid and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Sunday issued some separate messages expressing profound respect for those who had embraced martyrdom in the historic movement in 1969. Viewers, we're taking a short break. Stay with Bangla City, SATV News. Welcome back, and you are watching Bangla City, SATV News. US puts Russia on don't travel list citing Ukraine tensions and has ordered its citizens not to travel Russia due to ongoing tensions along the border with Ukraine. The State Department cited the potential for harassment against US citizens, the embassy's limited ability to assist them in Russia, COVID-19 entry restrictions, and more. This comes US officials on Sunday ordered relatives of American embassy staffers in Ukraine to leave the country, while some diplomats were given the opinion to leave. The officials said the embassy would stay open. Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, will learn Monday whether he can appeal to Britain's Supreme Court against a High Court ruling that he may be extradited to the United States. However, Washington wants Assange to face trial for WikiLeaks publications in 2010 of classified military documents relating to the US war in Afghanistan and Iraq. Dalia Nilufar has the report.
Assange is facing 18 charges relating to the release of 500,000 secret use files. The High Court will now decide whether to permit Assange to appeal the decision to the UK Supreme Court on points of law of general public importance. On December 10, the court reversed an earlier judgment that it would be oppressive to extradite the 50-year-old Australian to the US justice system because of his mental health and the risk of suicide. At a two-day hearing in October, US lawyers argued that a lower court judge had not given sufficient weight to other expert testimony about Assange's mental state. They also pointed to diplomatic assurances provided since the January decision that Assange would not be held in punishing isolation at a federal supermax prison and would receive appropriate care. However, Washington wants Assange to face a trial for WikiLeaks publication in 2010 of classified military documents relating to the US wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. If Assange loses on Monday, the case will be returned to Westminster Magistrates Court that it be sent to Interior Minister Priti Patel for the final say. Assange could be jailed for up to 175 years in the United States, although the exact sentence is difficult to estimate. Assange spent 7 years at Ecuador's embassy in London to avoid being removed to Sweden to face sexual assault allegations that were later dropped. Assange has been held at Belmarsh prison since 2019, despite having served a previous sentence for breaching bail conditions in a separate case. A coalition of anti-war groups and thousands of peace campaigners on Friday signed a statement calling for his immediate release. Dalia Nulufar, SATV News Desk.
At least 120 people have been killed in Syria, including 7 civilians, as battles between US-backed Kurdish forces and Islamic State group fighters raided for a first day, said report. Fighting began late on Thursday with an assault by more than 100 IS insurgents on the Kurdish Ram Gauriam jail in the Hasaki city. According to the Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, at least 77 IS members and 39 Kurdish fighters, including internal security forces, prison guards, and counter-terrorism forces, have been killed so far. Members of the Taliban are meeting. Members of Taliban are meeting with Western officials in Norway for the first talks in Europe since the group took control of Afghanistan. The group are set to request access of billions of dollars that are frozen in US bank. The talks will cover human rights and the humanitarian crisis in the country. Afghanistan has seen unemployment and food prices soar, raised the value of its currency is plummeting, and banks have set limit on cash withdrawals. Western envoys are expected to emphasize the importance of the more inclusive Taliban government and human rights, as the UN says 95% of Afghan people have nothing to eat. The Omicron variant has moved the COVID-19 pandemic into a new phase and could bring it to an end in Europe, and WHO Europe director said on Sunday. Meanwhile, top US scientist Anthony Fauci also expressed optimism, telling media that with COVID-19 cases coming down rather sharply in parts of the United States, he believes that people will start to see a turnaround throughout the entire country. Cricketer Nasir Hussain, his wife Tamima Sultana and mother-in-law Shumi Akhtar today sought discharge from a case filed over adultery and defamation. During today's hearing, defense lawyer told the court that the marriage between Nasir and Tamima was solemnized following the rules of Muslim law, so the charges brought against them should be dismissed. The prosecution opposed, saying that the complainant didn't get any notice regarding divorce as it was not duly served, so the charges brought against accused should be framed. After hearing both, the side's additional chief metropolitan magistrate set February 9 for passing an order on whether to frame charges or not. Minister Dhaka has beaten Fortune Barishal by 4 wickets. This is the first-time victory of Minister Dhaka in the season. After winning the toss, Dhaka elected to bowl first. Fortune Barishal was in trouble while batting. Sakib, Shantu, Tauheed, Ridoy all had been failed to accumulate runs in the scoreboard. Barishal scored 129 runs. Rather, Dhaka also was the trouble in their innings, while Tamim Iqbal had to back early without adding any runs. Shahjad, Naeem, Johorul also failed to score the Dhaka. But Mahmudullah made 47 runs, which increased the winning possibility for the Minister Dhaka. Before ending, we go through Indo Bangla City SATV News headlines again. Hunger strike by SAS students entered the 6th-day section of university. Teachers start token hunger strike on DU campus. All offices are asked to operate with half of staff. Rest to work virtually up to February 6 to curb coronavirus. Bangladesh to host Food and Agriculture Organization Asia Pacific Regional Conference for the first time. You are up to date with the Indo Bangla City SATV News, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.